This is Stephen
Hi, Don.
Gowski, and I'm here with Bryan Duncan. So how you doing, Bryan?
It's just another day in paradise.
Cool, 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 cool. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I've been a singer-songwriter my whole life, and it was an iffy choice of careers to travel around the world and sing songs for a living, but it's worked out pretty well. I'm, a grandpa now. I got 3 granddaughters and a grandson, so
Cool, awesome, wonderful. Yeah. So how did you get into music, especially Christian?
Well, I grew up in church. My dad was a Pentecostal preacher, so he was always needing somebody to fill in. It was a small church, so he taught me how to play bass first.
Wow.
And I played bass guitar at church services when I was probably 14 or 15, and then somebody gave me a guitar eventually. My mom gave me piano lessons and accordion lessons. She started me on the accordion.
Okay.
Then I eventually somebody gave me a guitar, and I didn't know how to play it, so I made stuff up, and I've been making stuff up ever since.
Cool. And you started the band, Sweet Comfort Band. So tell me about that.
Sweet Comfort Band was formed in 1973, so it's old as the hills at this point. It's almost as old as the Old Testament, I guess.
Yeah.
We did 6 albums in about 11 years, and toured until I was sick of it. And then I didn't really leave the band to go solo. I just left the band to stay home.
Oh, okay.
I got a job pouring concrete for
really?
about 6 months. And then somebody asked me about singing at a youth group thing just down the street from me. And the whole time I was in the band, I was probably making about $200 a week, because we put all the money into the events and into the equipment. And so these people paid me like $700 just to come and play for an hour. And I was suddenly, I had a new baby on the way, and suddenly I had more money that I made in 6 weeks in one single concert. It was like,
wow,
that really helped me decide that maybe I ought to, not throw music completely out the window. I mean, no offense, but at some point you kind of follow what you can make a living at. So
sure.
I've been a believer since my early childhood, but at the same time, you still have to make a living. So
certainly,
that's the only reason I bring up the money question. It was clearly, there was other callings about it, about Jesus wanting me to do, to live a life for him. But my life as a believer has always been evangelism, kind of as a lifestyle. I never approach people with a sense of, you ought to do what I think. I just present what I know to be true in my faith, and then let people make decisions on their own.
Yeah. So your band just slam dunk right in the beginning of the Jesus music movement.
What about it?
Yeah. I mean, which was really cool, Yeah. So.
Well, that there was a lot of other bands around in those days. Love Song. I came out to California in the first place because of a Christian group called Love Song, and there was Children of the Day and Blessed Hope and Country Faith, but they were all kind of folky, hippie folk music, for the most part. Some of them were rock and roll, but they had some rock driving stuff, but when we came along, Sweet Comfort Band had almost a jazz flavor to it, because I mean, we knew we were playing 7 chords and getting away with it. So
Right. Yeah. I know my friends were like really upset when Sweet Comfort Band wasn't there anymore, you know. It's just like, you know, I mean they were so upset. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh well.
yeah.
So yeah.
But
And then
we
you
don't get to stay in the same place. You know, even now, even as a solo artist, I've done like 22 albums.
sure.
And but you know, my days on the radio are fewer and farther between. And you know, it's the nature of ebb and flow.
Right.
And we all know, I mean, I follow Jesus because life is a path, not a parking lot. And you can't stay where you used to be. That's all.
No. Definitely not. Yeah, and you have your new band, NehoSoul band. So tell me about that. How was that for?
It's just a fancy spelling. It just kind of throws people off. But
yeah,
the NehoSoul band was just the NehoSoul band, but
right.
we didn't. Neo sounded like neo-Nazi to me, so I just said, well, it's NehoSoul, meaning new soul music. So
right, yeah.
That lasted, you know, maybe 3 or 4 years. We did a Christmas record and an album called Still Dancing, but you know, that was all on my dime, and you know, I didn't really make my money back.
Yeah,
those
days. Yeah. Well, I enjoyed those albums also, you know. So
you got that one? Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I got the Still Dancing, and you know, yeah. And
It's this one. Yeah, that's. So can you see that?
Yes. And the live one. Yep. So that was pretty cool. Oh. You know. Yeah. Really awesome. You know. Yeah, and then you did some did a whole bunch of songs, and your newest one, I Will Shine. Tell me about that.
I Will Shine is exactly what I was just talking about. Is we can't stay where we've been. The very first line to the song I Will Shine is, sometimes we all come to find we can't stay where we've been. And basically it's about finding a way to stay on track and stay optimistic and faithful to God through a new future. Because I mean, Lord knows, the times that we're living in now are almost unrecognizable. You know, everything you see around you, start to realize this isn't the same America that we used to live in. And a lot of things are changing. They're changing pretty fast. And so, I mean, I keep my nose in the good book, you know, to keep my eyes from wandering off the page. Because if anything will just disturb you, it's just watching the news and listening to everybody has an opinion now, and you can't always delineate between, you know, somebody who has a right to say something and somebody who's just spouting off.
Right. Yeah. You have to stay focused on Jesus, you know, and his word, you know. He has a lamp to my feet and a light, you know, to my path, you know. So, you know, we gotta follow that instead of the world, you know. So yeah, pretty awesome. You also did the song Blue Skies. I love the album. Really awesome album.
Blue Skies was that song came after a long time of not finding much that was too funny or even enjoyable. You know, there are times in our lives where we go through things that are just take longer to go through. In my case, you know, I lost a marriage early 90s, and I didn't see it coming. And and eventually you start going, wow, do I have a single answer for anything? It's like, just because you're a believer doesn't mean things won't happen to you. And
certainly not.
You can't protect yourself all the time from the things that happen to everybody on this planet. You know, there will be days where you know, it's just a matter of getting through it. But I mean, Blue Skies was like, saw a clearing in the clouds today.
Yeah.
I remember the first time after about a year and a half that I actually laughed at something on the radio. Somebody was saying something and I laughed, and it was almost as startling to me. I was just like, wow, I don't remember the last time I laughed at something. And that's when I knew I was coming out the other side. And, you know, God walked me through some of my own mistakes, and he was there to greet me on the other side of the clouds.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't schedule your breakdowns, but we do know humans we can trust in, you know, yes, definitely, you know, yeah. You have you also have the hit song, I Will Love You With My Life. Yeah, way back from
that song is maybe one of the oldest songs. I mean, I wrote that when I was 20 years old. I'm 68. Wow. So do the math.
That's awesome song.
But you know, what's really interesting about that song is that I wrote it and we recorded it. We put it on the Sweet Comfort Band's second album.
Right.
Now we went out and toured, and we were a rock band. I mean, we weren't really not interested in doing ballads for any reason. I mean, it was not our crowd, and it was we were usually outdoor events, and so I mean, we were rocking. I mean, that was the whole point. And I think we toured that whole album for over a year, for maybe a year and a half. And then somebody put that song on the radio down in Florida, WCIE. It's not even a major station, but they started playing it to death, and it started to grow. And then it was one of those things where, you know, these days a radio single is usually bought and paid for. You know, people market it, they push it.
Right.
I Love You With My Life was a grassroots requested, you know, just kept getting requested for. And the next thing you knew, we had a #1 single out of that record, and we were already on to a third record. I remember going back and going, how does that song go?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now song. Here it is more than 40 years later, and I'm still singing that. And I sing that song almost every week, someplace, you know, 40 years later. And that's the kind of success that I never saw coming. You know, you tend to try to measure your success or whatever your effectivity is by, you know, some kind of results a lot faster than like 40 years. But I mean, when you can look back and say this song's been around for 40 years, man, it could be in the hymnal by this point. That really says something, you know, that, I mean, that was a gift from God. I mean, that he gave me that and I didn't even pay attention to it. And it's kind of typical of how we do with God. We don't pay attention to some of the best gifts that he's given us, and until we look back at our lives and go, wow, that's one of the best things that ever happened.
Yeah. It's just an awesome song, you know. Yeah, really, really awesome. So tell me about your concerts. What are your concerts like?
Yeah, well, you know, the last year and a half, you know, no musicians have been able to play much.
Right.
I haven't been on an airplane for a year and a half now. It's my last concert was a funeral, actually.
Oh no.
In February of 2020. So I mean, it didn't even count as a concert, but you know, the thing I know, You know, we couldn't even go out to eat. And, you know, there was a long period of time where, you know, musicians, you know, had nothing. I mean, we had nothing going on.
Right.
But I've had support, you know, I crowdfund my records. And so I've been writing songs all the way through the year that I've, you know, been sidelined. So I've been writing songs that I hope to do in concert again, but concert world is coming back pretty slow. And a lot of people were hurt pretty bad by the virus and the shutdown of everything. And it just made it hard for anybody to do anything. But man, I got some great songs out of it. You know, when people support my music, I let them hear the songs before they're recorded. And I've got several sentimental Christmas songs about my kids and about, you know, Christmas growing up. And I covered some old hymns. My folks used to sing duets. And so, and they used to sing What a Friend We Have in Jesus and Farther Along. And I Come to the Garden Alone. And so, I mean, I did a couple of those things because it was requested for this funeral that I did. Mm-hmm. And they went over well later. I arranged The Old Rugged Cross. And we sent it out to our friends on this last Easter. And man, it went over really good. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll release some of that kind of thing.
Sure.
And right now I'm working on a song over here about my granddaughters and about walking with them. And you know, they're little tiny babies most of the time. Yeah. But you know, a lot of sentimental stuff, you know, coming from me these days.
Yeah, certainly. Do you have any bookings planned or?
Where are you at? I don't remember where you are.
Oh, okay. I'm from Philadelphia area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, last time I was in Philadelphia, you know, man, it was some kind of allergies. My voice locked down. I mean, literally after 2 songs, I could barely sing. So I'm afraid of Philadelphia, I think.
Oh no.
I do have I've got a concert over in Ohio in I think in October sometime. It might be earlier than that. I think it's still in the works as far as figuring out what day it's going to be. Okay. And I'm in Minneapolis in November, and over in Texas. But you know, I mean, they're really scattered out. I've talked to several promoters that are, you know, just got hammered financially. Mm-hmm.
Certainly.
And one guy in Colorado Springs that I played for, in fact, he was one of the last actual concerts I did. It was a performing arts center in Colorado Springs. And he says, man, I hope to have you back in sometime in 2022. Yeah. I mean, that's how far out it is, you know, just trying to get, you know, back in the swing of things.
Sure. So how can we contact you?
Oh, you know what? You can, if you go to my website, BryanDuncan.com, spell Bryan with a Y, BRYAN, BryanDuncan.com. There's a place to send me messages, and, you know, we'll get in touch with you. Because I believe only people matter. And, you know, even over here on Facebook and Twitter, on the social media sites that I run, I make a goal to talk to literally everybody that sends me a message. So, I mean, you know, I don't take that lightly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So do you have any advice for other artists or musicians?
Any advice?
Yeah.
You know, you'd think at my age I'd have some advice to pass out, but you know, most of the things that I thought were going to be the right thing to do, you know, kind of blew up in my face. So I'm not real quick with advice, other than to trust God and get on with it.
Okay, cool. Yes, certainly. Yeah. I would like to thank you for coming on. It was a real pleasure for me. Yeah. So, any last words?
You know, I hope to get out to your neighborhood at some point. It would be
Certainly.
nice to play. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to playing more, and I've got some new songs that I want to deliver. So, you know, God bless everybody there that's watching your show, and I pray that we see you in person before we're way too old.
Certainly. Well, like to thank you, Bryan, and God bless you for all your work. Your music has really touched me, I remember, in the '80s, just pick up your tapes and just walking, and just listening to stuff. It was just really awesome. So
Well, I'm
thank you for
surprised
that.
you go back to the really old stuff, and you
Yes.
even, I Will Shine and the NehoSoul band project. So I should just say thanks for hanging around for so many years. That's quite an honor for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're welcome, and God bless you.
I don't know how to get off of this. This is a
Okay.
Zoom
Well,
thing.
then I'll just.
So what happens? I just push this button over here, and
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. So yeah. Well, we'll end it here. So God bless you, and
you
and
bet.
and,
God bless all
and
your.
hope to see you. Place near here. Either in Philadelphia or we're everywhere. So I'm sure everybody will start contacting you, for more concerts. So thank you
I
so
hope so.
much.
You bet, man.
Okay.
God bless you.
Okay.
And
God
so
bless you. Okay.
I
Bye.
just push this button.
Yes.
See ya.